Hello, students. Can I get a confirmation from you all in the chat box if you can see the screen, students? Can I get a confirmation? Yeah, thank you. Now, students, I will do the question, but I will pause the recording at the. Yeah, now, students, the biggest challenge in the SCS is you have to think with a short frame of time. Because students, you can't recall whatever we have done in the class. You have to slowly think and write the answers to the situation. Now, Caroline has sent you the following mail. As you are aware that there are lots of internal control issues in the lithium mine. Please be kind enough to refer the reference material. Now, don't worry. In the exam, you see here, Caroline. Caroline is a non-executive director in the risk committee, students, and also the audit risk, and also students in the remuneration. So 3 positions are there in the 3 committees. I need your response on the following. So point of focus. I never saw anyone writing point of focus in your Word document. So evaluate the arguments for and against dismissal of Andrey. So who is Andrey? This guy. Do you see Andre, production director? Can I get a Y in the chat box, students? Can you see here? Andre is production director, and Caroline is our non-executive person. Okay, so you have logical question. Can the non-executive ask opinion from the finance manager? Answer is no. In practical life, answer is no. But in the examination purpose, they're giving situations like that. Okay, evaluate the arguments for and against dismissal of Andrey. The best way to write this answer is break it down arguments for, arguments against dismissal of Andrey. So I'll just write down here arguments for dismissal of Andrey. Arguments against dismissal of Andrey. Okay, so students understand this two perspective very clearly. So you can break it down. The best approach is that. How this dismissal may affect control environment. Super. Okay, got it. Secondly, evaluate arguments for appointing risk manager and recommend areas for risk managers needs to concentrate. Students, can I quickly get a confirmation from you all in the chat box? Are you fine with that? This was missing in your screens. So students, again, I'm telling, let's get used to the screen-based typing. Excellent. Thank you, Nati. Thank you, Pritham. Thank you, Feroza. Now, students, since everything is clear, let's look at the situation. A reference material, there has been an internal audit done in the mines, and it has come to light the leadership of Andre is under the threat of lack of confidence. These were the insights. In certain mines, the work is taking place even after the time, and more lithiums are extracted as well. So they're going beyond the time and they're extracting more lithium. Also, there are situations where legal rules are not followed. Specifically, more water is taken for use. Also, health and safety of the mine workers are at serious threat, and most of the workers are fired and treated on contract basis. There is no proper treatment also. Also, another factor to be considered can be the lithium stocks are not recorded and many are sold in the black market as well. Now, students, you see here, the answer is purely negatively focusing on whom, students? Andre. Do you understand this is the trick of the examiner? Give you a reference material purely negatively focusing on Andre. So the condition of the students in the exam condition will be they will continuously write more negative factors, and their thinking will be only limited towards negativity rather than application. Students, are you understanding what I'm saying there, students? Can I quickly get a confirmation from you all in the chat box, students? Are you getting the clarity behind that? Can I quickly get a Y in the chat box? Now, you mustn't do that, students. You mustn't simply write only the negative things. You have to effectively write down why there is only negative. Why can't there be some positive things towards this situation? Okay. Now evaluate the arguments for and against the dismissal of Andrey. Arguments for is very easy. Students, can I get a confirmation from you all in the chat box, students? Argument for is very, very, very easy. The reason why argument for is very, very easy is the reference material itself is having most of the relevant points. Am I right? Am I right? Yeah. But the biggest challenge is arguments against Andrey is very tough. Arguments against his dismissal is tough. Now remember carefully arguments for. You are saying he must be dismissed. That is right. That is arguments for. Arguments against means you are telling on what rationale is this and how this dismissal may affect the control environment is the biggest question. Now, students, I am asking you a very practical methodology of thinking here. You have to put yourself into the position of Andre. You have to put yourself into the position of a board, and you have to be very, very careful to give a balanced answer also. Now, students, can someone tell me um, against Andre any points you are able to think? If you have not thought, please put N in the chat box. If you have anything that you think against, that means you are telling not to, you can put something that you are thinking. If you don't know, you put N. If you are able to think, suitable replace may be challenging. No, 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 not exactly. So I'm getting the answer. Negative impact. News on readiness of replacement position, dismissal of a leader, loss of reputation, not at all. Threat of legal disputes, not at all, not at all. Students, I'll take you a quick real life example. How many of you all are aware that Starbucks ousted the CEO Lakshman Narasimhan? Can I quickly get a Y in the chat box? Starbucks fired the CEO of Lakshman Narasimhan. Correct, no, Preetham. I hope you must be practical here. Unnati, even if you are going in India, you would have seen Starbucks is not having any issues because Lakshman Narasimhan is fired. Are you agreeing with me, Unnati? Are you clear with what I'm saying there? That is although you are mentioning reputation, everything, at the end of the day, that is the reality. The book definitions are very different from the real life application. So, students, can I quickly get a confirmation from you all in the chat box, students, if you are clear with that perspective? We have to be very strategic, very differentiated. Feroza, hopefully, I believe you are also getting those point of view, Feroza, because this paper is very different from the management case study paper. Because this paper, we are going beyond the data and we are also being very pragmatic. Pragmatic is the correct term we can use. Like management thinks how to threat of a restraint of trade or leaving with customers, not at all, not at all, not at all. Now, students understand it clearly. Evaluate arguments for a dismissal of Andre. So, can we focus on that? Yeah. Andre has been proven with evidences by the internal audit that he has not managed the functions well, and there are serious allegations, serious issues. It can't be allegations anymore, issues where the company has identified internally the company has identified what students internally, identified internally. Students, can I quickly get a confirmation from you all in the chat box? Are you clear with that, students? Can I quickly get a confirmation? So that gives a better clarity at the moment. So now let's continue this more and more in detail so that it will be very, very, very clearer and very, very, very easier for you all to understand. Therefore, this can be more towards governance issue. Governance issue. For instance, this can lead to a principal agency issue. Now, no one mentioned this. Students, again, I am telling you this is very, very, very important. Students, can I quickly get a confirmation from you all in the chat box, students? This can lead to a principal agency issues. Now, I did not see anyone mention this. Now, don't memorize, okay, Feroza, Preetham, and Unnati. The principal agency issue is the issue between the shareholders and the management. Since effectively the mismanagement is affecting the shareholders' work students. Shareholders' work students' wealth. Shareholders' wealth. Students, are you understanding that? Can I quickly get a confirmation from you all in the chat box, student? Because it's effectively affecting the shareholders' wealth. Another challenge can be legal issues. Since the standards are not maintained, we have to be careful on the compliance risk. Since anytime there can be a situation where the company can lose the mining licenses as well. Since this is a sensitive factor, considering the usage of water. Also, we have to investigate how Andre managed to influence the regulatory bodies. Did he provide any bribes? It's a question mark. Students, can I quickly get a confirmation from you all in the chat box? Can I quickly get a confirmation from you all in the chat box? Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Pritham. Now, the next thing, let's also go forward more in detail, more clearly. Another challenge can be exploitation of labor. In case of any death, there can be human rights violations, which can overall affect the company going concern. This can be a major issue as well, and eventually this can lead to situations where the company may have to face international tribunal. Tribunal means court, students. Finally, black market. Palladiums can be used for explosives by terrorists Therefore, in that case, this can be a major threat. This can be a major threat to the company. Linking with terrorist organizations will eventually affect the reputation of the company. And finally, there can be suspensions of operations as well. In that case, dismissal can be fair enough considering Andrey. Full stop. Students, how is the points? Can I quickly get a confirmation from you all in the chat box? How do you rate this point? Again, I'm asking you, do you feel the thinking goes very much outside the book knowledge, students? Are you understanding? And that you have to design within 15 minutes. 15 minutes, students, 15 minutes. As a teacher, my challenge you is to make you think critically within 15 minutes how to design an answer which is going outside the scope of a textbook. Feroza, everyone, are you clear with what I'm saying there, students? Are you understanding these things? Are you getting the structurization of this? Now, arguments against dismissal of Andrey is another challenge. Shall we just think about that? Will the company also report this to the government since it's illegal? Of course, they can, but at the moment it is internal. It is internal. So arguments against dismissal of Andrey. Now, students, let's come to this one. Okay, let's come to this one. This is where many people. Now, Andrey's profile. Can we just check Andrey's profile? Graduated with a distinction. Okay, highly educated person. He worked several chemical companies. He joined Rotomyne's research and training facility in 2018. Okay, and Andre was promoted to Rotomyne in 2022. So he has worked eventually in this company for almost 8 years. Can I quickly get a confirmation? So almost 6 years, students, almost 6 years, if you effectively calculate it. Now, my question to you is, he was promoted, right? He was promoted, right? Now, if he's promoted, who is the person in charge to promote a director? The remuneration committee. Can I quickly get the nomination committee? Can I quickly get a confirmation from y'all in the chat books? The nomination committee is the person who would have appointed him. What do you agree with me, students? Yeah. So he was appointed based on his track records by the nomination committee. Jayavardhana, Pierce Forcier, and Professor Lemmy Barrow. And then Shaista Shamin also should be a part of nomination committee because the reason is the CEO should know who is getting nominated to work in his board. He should be kept informed in that process. Now, my question is, students, do you think Andri is the only person responsible for this issue, or the management and the non-executive team also should take some responsibility for not overlooking the work of Andre? Because if you see, CEO runs the board because he runs the company. So CEO should have an eye on Andre. Am I right or wrong? The board of committee, the non-executive team should also have some idea on what is happening. Am I right or wrong, students? Are you understanding what I'm saying? So what happened to the internal audit report of 2022, 2023, and 2024? Because students, in that case, I cannot say it's only one person's issue. It's maybe an overall governance issue from the people above them. Are you getting the clarity behind that, students? There's a negligence factor that has taken place at the moment. Lack of whistleblowing. There is a term called whistleblowing, students, because if you observe, in every successful organization you have been, The whistleblowers are generally TNs, office staff, all those things are the whistleblowers. They effectively have idea what is happening across and they will give their perspective to the management step by step. Students, can I quickly get a confirmation from you all in the chat box, students, if you are able to understand that perspective clearly, students? Thank you very much, students. Thank you very much. So that is the argument for. But one thing again, I can say it is like this. You have to go in either way. First, blame it and also say, however, now see, students, you observe here, he has a PhD also. So in that case, they would have trusted his qualification also, no, students. What do you think? So can I quickly get a confirmation from you all in the chat box? Now you see, a basic example is Joe Biden. Now, Joe Biden was the president of United States of America for the last 5 years. Am I right? Can I get a Y in the chat box, students? Joe Biden corporate governance issue. Now you observe downfall of America. Is it due to Joe Biden or it is purely due to the Democrats or Democrats party, that is his party, I think, not appointing the right candidate? Students, can you blame Joe Biden only or the appointment team who made him the nominee for the presidential candidate, knowing his age, knowing his cognitive fitness, knowing his physical fitness? Overall team, right? Students, are you understanding what I'm meaning there, students? This is where students lack the answer. This is where a student like the answer. Can I get a double Y in the chat box, students, if you understood what I'm saying? And a quick example for Indian students, Unnati, very open example. Rahul Gandhi becoming the president of Congress. Anyway, he can't defeat Modi because that's a different story. But governance of Congress is very weak in India. Is it only because of Rahul Gandhi or the team who is supporting Rahul Gandhi? Are you understanding, Unnati, what I'm saying there? Are you getting that question clear? It's the team, students. It's the team. And if the team is controlled by one particular person, then the company has a very, very poor corporate governance. Thank you. Thank you very much, students. Let's quickly go towards the arguments against the dismissal of Andrey. So I'll write down here, students. Andrey is appointed transparently since he has been promoted based on his track record, based on his students' track records. Can I quickly get a confirmation from you all in the chat box? Therefore, in that case, the nomination committee too needs to take responsibility. Since in the thinking aspect, he is being appointed and all his duties are assigned by the management. And also, the CEO needs to be aware about the board. And there is no indications that they have created any internal controls for the senior board. This has caused opportunity for mismanagement. Therefore, in that case, the management's lack of competence also needs to be taken into action. Since the shareholders effectively trust the management than an individual, than an individual. Students, can I quickly get a confirmation from you all in the chat box? Are you getting the clarity behind these points? Are you getting the clarity behind these points? Excellent. Thank you. Thank you. Now, the next thing, students, just to be even more precise and more clearer on the thinking aspect. Why suddenly there is an internal audit? What about previous year? In that case, this can be another factor to be considered. Therefore, the company needs to make sure the reasons for not having proper audits previous years. Now, just to add value, Rotomyne's chief internal auditor reports to the convener of the audit committee. Now, students, if you observe in this case, I'll write down here, the chief internal auditor and the convener of audit committee needs to be taken for questions. Are you understanding that? Can I quickly get a confirmation from you all in the chat box, students? Are you clear with that? Any questions you like to ask, you can ask. And the next one, there needs to be whistleblowers in the mines who provide doubtful activities informally to the management. In that case, this can have a better clarity and organizational control. In that case, this can eventually have a better system to prevent fraud. Students, can I quickly get a confirmation from you all in the chat box? Are you clear with that, students? Are you clear with that perspective on prevention, detection, and opportunity to create fraud? Because students, if you have a system of where there is a prevention and no opportunity for fraud, there needs not be a situation of detection for fraud, because students living in the first world countries may effectively understand their development is not because of their people, because of the systems they have placed within their nation. So I can say, therefore, what Audrey did was wrong, but he too cannot be considered. Some leadership responsibility also needs to be considered. Students, this is a very good professional answer, but can I ask you a practical question if you are a working professional? In officer students, you would have observed one thing, that when there are situations on leadership issues or something like that, CEOs, these big people will not take responsibility. They will quickly transfer the responsibility to someone small and move away. Can I quickly get a confirmation from you all in the chat box if you understood that perspective of taking and moving away, students? I hope you got the clarity. Thank you. Thank you, Nati. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Now, students, slowly going for the next one. How this dismissal may affect the control environment. So I'll write down here, since the top director has been dismissed, there will be a fear among the regional managers and also the divisional managers as well. This can enhance a tone from the top that everyone will be treated equally. And the systems may become more robust. Also, the shareholders will be impressed at taking fast decision and the confidence may rise. Therefore, in that case, there can be more positive effects with the dismissal. Considering the negative issues, in this case, will be minimal. As usual, there will be criticisms by the group that is benefited. Anyway, there will be a group that is benefited, but there is sufficient evidences and proof which will eventually result that this is not an unfair dismissal. This is not what, students? Unfair dismissal. Students, can I quickly get a confirmation from you all in the chat box if you understood that perspective clearly? This is not an unfair dismissal. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Arguments for appointing a risk manager. Now, students, this section, again, you can't write technical answers here. A particular situation for risk managers. So, can I guide you that when you're starting something, you always start with the industry overview? Lithium mining is more risk-oriented industry. Since the equity beta, or can I say since the beta is, in this case, students, the beta is 1.63. 1.63. Therefore, in that case, the company needs to make sure they have a risk manager to mitigate the challenges, specifically targeting the industry. Can I get a Y in the chat box, students? Are you understanding that? Because the risk answers will vary according to the industry. So make sure you write down the industry element first. So in this case, can I move forward with more clarity, more clearer picture? So can I quickly get a confirmation from the students so that I can move forward with more clarity here? Yeah, let's start working on this. So I'll just go here for appointing a risk manager. The risk manager will be responsible for mitigating risk like lithium rules and other issues well proactively. And therefore, we may have sufficient preparations for adversity. Can I quickly get a confirmation from you all in the chat box, students? Are you getting that? I hope that is fine now. So can I go forward with the next perspective, students? Can I quickly get a confirmation from you all? If you are fine, can I quickly go forward with the next one? The areas the risk manager needs to consider. So students, in this case, the first one I can write down here, legal compliances. Legal what, students? Compliances. Agree, no, students? So can I write down here legal compliances? This is where the fundamental, the operation are governed. So he can set up standards and which will help him to manage business operations well. And also manage the regulatory requirements. The second one, labor and health and safety. The health and safety needs to be prioritized since it may affect the business operations as well. In that case, this can be a major factor to be considered. The third one, environment. Water conservation is very much critical. Therefore, in that case, this is important for the management to understand as well. And the next one, students, pre and post completion audit. He needs to take responsibility of pre and post completion audit, since there will be legal requirement. Designing control environments. Black market sales can be prevented by having coding systems where the stocks are numbered. In that case, this can prevent the company losing the stocks to unauthorized clients. Stop, students, can I quickly get a confirmation from you all in the chat box? Are you clear with this perspective? Any questions you like to ask, you can ask. Students, relax. Again, I'm telling you, the best exam strategy is no strategy. The best exam strategy is what, students? No strategy. Pritham, it is mostly your side thinking, the Eastern Asian side thinking. That is the best way to prepare for the future is think there is no future. That is the best way to prepare. Because if you think too much about the future, you are losing the present. Can I quickly get a double Y in the chat box, students? Because The best exam strategy is no strategy, students. Honestly telling, no strategy. Don't pressurize yourself. Don't focus on perfection. Don't go for too much of confusion. I'm especially talking to the girls in our class because you think more than more. That should be somewhat reduced. I'm saying to reduce it. Just be present of mind because I think today was a wonderful exposure. But I understood one thing, students. Can I write down here? Skills to be improved. Now, students, we are working with AI. Now, I think our children in the future will not have the challenge of memorizing poems. Can you remember when we were small, we had to memorize poems? But I don't think in future memorizing poems is a skill anymore because Google has it. So skills, agility, agility of agility of response. How soon you can respond. Agility means speed of thinking, students. Agility of response. Can I write down here 15 to 20 minutes? 15 to how many minutes, students? 20 minutes. Agility of response. Can I quickly get a confirmation from y'all in the chat box, students? Can I quickly get a confirmation from y'all in the chat box? That is agility, agility, agility. Now, the next one, students, I can effectively say, think beyond data. Think beyond the data. This is the futuristic skill because in our time, in another 5, 6 time, so many local version of ChatGPT can come. As Unnati, can there be an Indian version of ChatGPT in the future? 100% sure. Can there be a firmware that is for your company type of ChatGPT? That also can come, no, students. Entire finance department, they can put the data, LLM model, large language modeling, and effectively, students, the data can be generated every time. So think beyond the data is a special skill. It's a special skill. It's a special skill. Students, can I quickly get a confirmation from you all in the chat box, students, if you are able to manage this situation? Thank you. Thank you very much, students. Thank you very much. I'll talk to the students step by step. Feroza, any questions you have for the day? Miss Unnati, any questions for the day? Preetham, any questions for the day? Students, again, don't worry. I will give you the mock on Sunday. And on Sunday also, we'll do a live question practice. On Sunday, I'll give you the mock and I'll mark your answers. Again, students, don't at all look at the marks. Just observe thinking quality, how you have to improvise your thinking. Because black market, lithium black market, students, if you observe Afghanistan, Afghanistan is the country which is the black market for lithium. And they generally sell lithium for terrorist organization also. That's the general knowledge. But I'm just telling you, students, lithium can be used for terrorism, explosives also. Because if you see batteries can explode, can you remember, students, in the flight, they will ask a question. Do you have like lithium batteries in your hand luggage? Can I quickly get a confirmation from your students? So can I write down here, lithium battery in hand luggage, students? They will always ask that question. Do you carry a lithium battery in your luggages? If you say yes, they'll tell, please keep it in the bag or with your hands. That is the idea. Thank you, students. Meet you on Sunday class. Thank you for your cooperation. See you. Take care, students.